Checking, checking. I think y'all can hear me now. That's not my microphone. I'm sorry, guys. I don't know what happened. My microphone, my mic pack, everything was showing that I had audio. Can y'all hear me now? Okay. So I'm sorry, guys. I don't know how good my audio is right now because it's not coming off my microphone. I don't know what's going on because literally everything's showing me that my microphone is working. So I apologize if I sound like crap. And I apologize that y'all missed everything that I just said. Because, like I said, even in my ear, I can hear myself. So I don't know what happened. I apologize. But this was an absolutely dominant win by the Nuggets. We'll go ahead and start over from the beginning. I apologize. But this game was everything that Nuggets fans were hoping to see in game two. You got to see the Nuggets have both of their stars absolutely go off. You had Nikola Jokic go out there and have a night that has never happened before. Not Kobe, not Michael, not LeBron. Nobody has done what Jokic did tonight. He had 32 points, 21 rebounds, and 10 assists. Nobody ever has gone for at least 30, 20, and 10 in the finals, period. Not Wilt, not Magic, nobody. Then you had Jamal Murray followed that up with a game high, game and team high 34 points, 10 rebounds, and 10 assists for a triple double of his own. And then Aaron Gordon came back, gave the physicality that we all love to see in game one. Here in game three, scored 11 points, 10 rebounds for a double-double of his own, plus added in 5 assists and a steal to go along with that double-double. So the Nuggets got all kinds of contributions. That's not even the biggest contribution outside of the top two, which came off the bench from the rookie Christian Braun, who was out there looking like a seasoned vet. The kid went out and played 19 minutes, scored 15 points, had another 4 rebounds, an assist, and a steal. And just the amount of energy and just the effort that kid brings is contagious. It's something that permeates the roster, and it's something I've wanted to see more. I know Mike and them mentioned in the pregame that they wanted to possibly see more Christian Braun. Well, this is exactly why they said that, and I'm saying it now, and I've been saying it since the kid was drafted. I love this kid coming out of Kansas. I love the fact that he was able to fall to the Nuggets there in the late first round. And him and Peyton Watson, I believe, are going to be 2 players to watch going forward. You already got Brown out here doing things in the finals, getting Coach Malone to trust him, a rookie, in the finals. That baby face looking like he's 16 kid was out there and doing things as a grown man. That the dunks, the defensive effort, the rebounds, everything that he brought to the table was crucial. And I do believe energized his team to absolutely dominate through the entire game. Unlike the first 2 games where you saw Miami come out and absolutely dominate the fourth quarter, the Nuggets came out from wire to wire, and they either tied or won every single quarter. Quarter 1, they tied 24-24. Quarter 2, they won 29-24. Quarter 3, they won 29-20. And then quarter 4, they just eked it out, but still won it 27-26. That is the type of consistent, solid effort that you should be seeing in these finals. I love that Coach Malone went out and challenged them, and this team absolutely responded in every aspect, both offense and defense. There was a couple of times that I was cursing and screaming about their defensive effort there at points, especially in the fourth quarter and in the second quarter, where they were allowing Miami to do a couple of things at the end of quarters to make it tighter than what it should be. That never tends to bode well, letting them hang around, because they tend to, in that fourth quarter, they tend to dominate. Thankfully, Nuggets were able to weather the storm, keep the heat down, and win 3 out of the 4 quarters, and do no worse than tie again that first quarter 24-24. So seeing that top to bottom roster domination is exactly what should be expected from this Nuggets team. They are the bigger, badder, faster, stronger team. That first game where Aaron Gordon was just bullying the boys in the paint when it came to Miami, and Jokic doing some things on the defensive end that probably haven't seen all year. And it makes sense for him to break out and do more of a rim protector role here in the finals. I mean, this is it. There's no tomorrow. Every game matters. So to see him go out and just dominate from open possession to ending possession was awesome to see, with his teammates just following along and making sure that they kept him up. You didn't see what happened in the fourth quarter of game 2, where the Nuggets just kind of stood around and watched Jokic be great. This time they kept cutting. They kept the energy up. They kept pushing the basket towards the rim all the way through the final whistle. And this is exactly what Coach Malone wanted to see. And that's what they gave us. So it was great to see. Miami, on the other hand, they didn't get nearly the help that they need to stay in a game, let alone win one. You had their stars do what they're supposed to do. They both led the team. They were the only ones on the team that scored more than 10 points, which is what I'm saying is that's not nearly enough help, especially when your top two guys, even though they did what they were supposed to do, neither one of them even hit 30. And it's one thing if you got a guy that hit 50 or 60, and then you got a bunch of other guys that hit like 10 or 8 or something. But when your top scorer is Jimmy Butler at 28 points, and then the next guy's 22, Bam Adebayo, then it falls all the way down to your bench player, Caleb Martin, at 10, and then everybody else below that, that is going to spell doom for a team that lives and dies by the three. This is another poor shooting game by Miami. They hit just barely over 30% from three. They were at 31.4%. They only hit 78.9% of their free throws and were only 37% from the field. That is the Achilles heel of this Miami squad. If they're hitting threes, they typically win. If they're not hitting them, they are going to get dominated. And that is exactly what happened tonight. Again, you had Butler with 28 points, 4 assists. Then you had Bam Adebayo. He was 22 and 17, 22 points, 17 rebounds, but only had 1 block, no steals. The defense for Miami was really hit and miss. Denver did a very, very good job of destroying that blueprint zone that the mainstream media has talked about for the last several weeks, or I shouldn't say weeks, last several days, more specific there. But that creative zone worked for all of about 15 minutes in game 3 or game 2. That was enough for them to get the win, obviously. But if you sit there and you sit and try and use the same defense against Nikola Jokic, he's going to figure it out and he's going to burn it. And that's exactly what happened tonight. You saw Jokic go out there, adjust to their adjustments every single time. That great genius Eric Spoelstra had no counter, absolutely none for Murray or Jokic the entire game. There was never really a point where you were like, man, I wish Jokic or Murray would pick it up. No, it was straight, just balls to the walls, pedal to the middle, everybody just going full bore the entire game. There was really no stopping either one of these guys. The Nuggets wanted it more, and it showed not only on the scoreboard, but on the court. It was a thrashing. This was much more dominant than game 1, because game 1, they allowed the Heat to really make it seem a lot closer than it was, especially with that dominant fourth quarter from Miami. That did not happen tonight. And this is exactly how they have to keep this is the exact level of energy they need to keep it up. And this could mean the Nuggets clinching this series on their home court in game 5. I'm still believing that it's going to go to 6. Miami doesn't know how to quit. I've said it a million different ways, a million different times, and both in print and audio here on a podcast. But they refuse to accept the fact that they are a bad team. They refuse to accept the fact that they are an 8 seed. They play like a 1 seed, and you just can't count them out. So I'm going to stick to 6. I do think that they're able to sneak one out in these next couple of games to push it to 6. But the way the Nuggets dominated tonight, I would be surprised if it got anywhere past that. And it'd actually be a little bit of a surprise if they play like this the next 2 games, that they don't just close it out in 5. If they play like this, it's over in 5. If they'd come out again flat like they did in game 2, then we can have us a series again. But right now, the way it looks, Denver has found that belief, they found that energy, and they're bringing it over and over and over throughout an entire game. That's what you wanted to see. And if you can keep that effort throughout a game, you can keep that effort into another game. And as much as I'm maligned about talking about momentum and who has it, I've explained before, I'm not sure that you can keep momentum in a series like this with two teams that play the way that they do in the team basketball that they play. So it's really hard to keep one or the other down. And so Miami's going to come back, especially on their home court, with a renewed energy. The Nuggets cannot count on the Miami Heat having another bad shooting night like they did in game 1 and game 3. That's not something that tends to continue with them for multiple games. They tend to hit shots in that next game. They figure it out when they have the time off. They make adjustments, and they start hitting shots. So game 4 is going to be crucial for Denver to continue playing defense the way that they did tonight. You saw, like I said, Jokic doing some rim protector things we haven't seen from him ever. You had Michael Porter Jr. giving a renewed effort on the defensive end, getting in people's faces. I don't think he had a block. I think Nikola had 2, and Bruce Brown had 3 for the 5 blocks that the Nuggets had, which is huge. I mean, you had Bruce Brown go out there, block 3 shots. He only scored 5 points, but just like any good basketball player, if you're not hitting the shots, if you play defense, you're still going to affect the game in a positive way. And that's just what Bruce Brown does, something I've talked about ad nauseum all season. I've loved what Bruce Brown brings to the court, even when he's not hitting shots, because unlike a guy like KCP or Michael Porter Jr., who tend to relax, I guess you could say, on the defensive end when they're not hitting shots, Bruce Brown doesn't. Christian Braun doesn't. That's why I love those two guys so much. What can Brown do for you when it comes to the Nuggets? A whole bunch of lotta. And it doesn't matter whether it's on the offensive or defensive side of the ball. These guys bring it. It's absolutely wonderful to see them get some due respect and some additional minutes that they earned in this game. Let's see. What other good storylines do we got going on here? I think it's pretty much covering everything that's of importance without giving away everything. So I have something to write about tonight. But going forward to game 4, this is, again, very important. Nuggets have to bottle. They got to catch this lightning in a bottle, and they got to carry it over to game 4 and then continue it into game 5. They want to end this series as quickly as possible. And they are completely capable of it. I don't think there can be a doubt in anybody's mind at this point that as long as Denver shows up and plays the type of game that they can play, they can end it in 5. There cannot be an argument that they can't. They might not. You can make an argument they might not end it in 5, but you can't guarantee it. You can't say that they can't do it. It's not possible at this point. They have shown how much better, especially tonight, they are than this Miami squad. I have all the respect and love in the world for this Miami squad. They are the ultimate underdog. They are filled with second round and undrafted free agents and castaways from other teams. And you just can't help but respect the grittiness of that team, the want to, the willpower, and just the dog that is seeming to permeate the entirety of that roster. But unfortunately, as much as people like to believe it's not the size of the dog in the fight, it's the size of the fight in the dog. While, yeah, that is technically true, if you got a big dog with a lot of fight, it doesn't matter how much fight is in that tiny dog. That big dog's still going to whoop that booty. Like, they still going to eat that. They're going to eat you alive. It's not even going to be close. It does not matter how much fight is in the little dog if the big dog can match that level of fight. And that is exactly what you saw tonight. You saw the big dog in the Nuggets match the fight of the little dog in the Heat, and they got whooped on their home court in every aspect. There's really no way that you can look at this game and say that Miami really has a positive to take away from it. This is one of those games that Miami has to flush and forget about. Like, they cannot let it fester for more than 24 hours. The 24-hour rule is crucial here. If they let it fester for any more than 24 hours, they are in huge trouble. If they let any inkling of doubt creep into their mind, this series is over. But as long as they can keep that mentality they have had this entire postseason, they can still make this a series and they can still make it interesting. But it's all going to depend on whether or not Miami is hitting from three. Because again, if they're not hitting from three, it's not only that they're not scoring, it tends to hurt their defense too. As you saw tonight, it really seemed to wane on them, especially in that fourth quarter, that they just did not have the same energy and emotion that they started the game with and that they used to keep it close through the first three quarters. After that, it just seemed like they showed fight definitely in the fourth quarter. They only lost the quarter by 1 point, but they just ran out of that energy to get over the hump and try and make it at least look better than what the final score was. Unlike game one, where they were able to, and it looked a lot better, this game they weren't, and the Nuggets were able to finish off that dominating win. So we're at about 30 minutes. So anybody got any questions real quick that are here? Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. We definitely love to hear from y'all on all the socials, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, wherever you feel comfortable. Make sure you go, hit the like and subscribe, hit all the red buttons, launch the nukes. That way you can clear the way and we can bring you the news the way that you deserve. For E5280sports.com, make sure you go over, check out. I'm going to write an article. It'll be up there tomorrow. So make sure you check that out. And we'll be giving you the daily content. Regardless of what it is, we're going to bring you something and any breaking news every single day. So make sure you check us out. For E5280 Life, wow, I messed it up. Sorry. For E5280 Sports and Lifestyle, I am your host, Dan Wettstein. This is the Full Court Press, and I hope you all have a great rest of your evening.